Welcome to Only the Truth, a true crime podcast hosted by me, Maureen Meehan. This time we are going to evaluate Powder River Poison, a book that I wrote quite some time ago, but it is based on a true story that happened in my hometown of Sheridan, Wyoming, years ago. Most of you are familiar with Buck Brannaman, the horse whisperer. There was a movie made by Robert Redford regarding uh, Buck and Buck and his family and his training of horses. And he's a very well-respected horseman and has competed, as has his wife, for years. But he trains high-stakes horses and still does it to this day. But some time ago, in Wyoming, a company could buy the mineral rights out from under land. So you can own your land, your ranch, but a company came in, bought the mineral rights to the Horse Whisperer's ranch, and started fracking and drilling. And in that regard, when you frack, you dig down deep, and it flushes out salt water from deep, core of the earth, and it floods the land. Well, that's what happened on his ranch outside of my hometown, and it ruined the grassland. It killed grouse, natural species, but it also killed his business. He couldn't train the horses because they couldn't graze anywhere. There was no grass to be found based on the salt water killing all the grass, leaking into the Powder River, which runs alongside his ranch and goes through that area of Wyoming. So this is, in fact, it did happen. There was a civil trial as a result. A friend of mine was the attorney that handled it on behalf of the Brannamans, and sent me the trial transcript years ago. And so from that, I wrote Powder River Poison, a Mary McIntosh novel. I'm going to start with a couple reviews. I think they're always insightful. This one is a 5-star review entitled A Gripping Legal Thriller. It was done January 25th, 2025, so it's relatively recent. In Maureen Meehan's gripping legal thriller, the pristine landscapes of Wyoming Bighorn Mountains becomes the battleground of environmental justice. Mary McIntosh, a tenacious attorney, takes on MethSap, a coal bed methane company that has devastated the Andersons Ranch through negligent mining practices contaminating groundwater and destroying rangeland. More than a simple legal narrative, the novel delves deep into a complex theme of community resilience, corporate accountability, and personal integrity. Meehan crafts a compelling exploration of an environmental stewardship, challenging readers to consider the true cost of progress and profound connections between land, livelihood, and human relationships. The story resonates with authentic emotion and moral urgency, making it a powerful testament to the fight for justice. Powder River Poison is a compelling page-turner that comes highly recommended. I give it 5 stars. So here's another review, February 3rd, 2025. 5-star review. Justice in the Bighorn Mountains is the name of this Michael's review. Maureen Meehan's Powder River Poison, a Mary McIntosh novel, is an electrifying legal thriller that will grip readers from the first page to the last. Set against the awe-inspiring backdrop of the Bighorn Mountains in northern Wyoming, this novel combines environmental activism, legal drama, and heartfelt emotion to deliver an unforgettable reading experience. The story centers around, fictionally, Butch Anderson, a legendary rodeo cowboy, and his wife, who own a pristine ranch out in the outskirts of the Bighorn Mountains. Their idyllic life is shattered when MessSap, a coal bed methane gas company, fails to keep its promises. Instead of receiving large royalty checks and having their ranch restored, they are left with contaminated groundwater, destroyed rangeland, and a poisoned Powder River basin due to the notorious well from hell. Enter Mary McIntosh, the formidable attorney known for her tenacity and dedication to justice. Hired to represent this family in a class action toxic tort case, Mac embarks on a crusade that threatens to tear apart this close-knit community. As she navigates the complexities of legal battle, she grapples with profound questions about love, stewardship, and the true cost of justice. Meehan's masterful storytelling shines through in The Powder River Poison. The novel's vivid descriptions of Wyoming's landscape transports readers to the heart of the Bighorn Mountains, while the intricate plot keeps them on the edge of their seats. The environmental themes are both timely and thought-provoking, raising important questions about our responsibility to protect the natural world and the people we love. Uh, Here's one more by a gentleman named Stephen, done January 28th, 2025. It's called A Thrilling Book with a Great Protagonist. Mary McIntosh, or Mac to her friends, has been drawn into an ugly legal battle. This feisty attorney has been hired by Butch Anderson, a long-in-the-tooth cowboy who owes his fame to exploits on the rodeo circuit. He and his wife now live on a beautiful spread of land close to Wyoming's Bighorn Mountains. The couple are paid by Messap, a coal bed methane gas company, to strip the land of its bounty of natural gas. They claim they will restore it to its former pristine splendor, but unsurprisingly, they go back to their own world in Chicago. It sets up a tense courtroom battle that will put Mac's legal acumen to the ultimate test. Powder River Poison by Maureen Meehan is a third book in the crime thriller series starring Mary McIntosh. Quite a bit of this novel takes place in the courtroom, making it reminiscent of certain works by John Grisham. The Mary McIntosh series is anchored by its protagonist, the inspiring and heroic Mac. She loves her community and is often called into service of defending it, as well as the outlying parts of this mostly remote Wyoming. The citizens of this part of the country seem to get themselves involved in a lot of trouble, as Mac seldom has a quiet moment to herself. Who knew that a rural lawyer's life could get so complicated? In this instance, Mac is going up against a giant corporation interested only in profiting from the strip mining of natural resources. So it's not exactly hard to get behind our hero. With her unusual enthusiasm, she uses her pluck and legal skills to cross swords with the slimy conglomerate that has poisoned the Andersons' land. The only real shock is that Butch and his wife would have ever believed an entity so cartoonishly evil would keep their world and not restore it to its former natural glory. It shouldn't surprise anyone that Mac finds her way to sort out the Andersons' legal woes. What's perhaps most commendable about this novel, though, is how the author highlights the often very real concern of greedy companies trying to destroy the environment for the sake of the almighty dollar. All right, so you get an idea of what the pace of this novel is swift. Uh, I'm going to start with chapter 1, the opening statement. This is your worst nightmare. It's like being married to me. I can do what I want, when I want, and how I want. The evidence in this case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, will show that those words were said to my client, Beth Anderson, on March 11, 2004, by A. Sanders, the president of a company called MedSab, the defendant in this case, I said, pointing to the short, skinny, red-haired man at the defense table. So, starts off in the courtroom with their opening statement in the trial of this couple who is suing this methane gas company for not restoring their ranch land to its pristine nature as promised. We skip to chapter 5. The Sheridan Wyo Rodeo is the world's largest one-go-round rodeo, Butch said as we drove around the town together running errands. After I filed the lawsuit with the county clerk, Butch, Beth, and I dropped off a conformed copy of the complaint to the Sheridan Press. Norma Roberts interviewed Butch for the evening headline. Word around town is that you're filing this lawsuit because Metsap didn't pull any gas from your property and you are mad because you weren't getting any royalty checks. Is this some kind of a revenge lawsuit? Norma shoved this tape recorder in Butch's face, wincing a bit at the burden of blindsiding Butch with a question that she promised she wouldn't ask. Norma, I learned real young that character is everything. I'm not filing this lawsuit because I haven't received any royalty checks, he said. I'm filing it because Messap destroyed my property and has severely damaged the water surrounding my land. They didn't abide by their word, and where I come from, a man's word is his moral fiber. Failing to keep your word means you are roughly the equivalent of a pile of cow shit. Or worse. At least cow dung has its uses. That's the kind of character we have in this cowboy, and, he's quite the man. If you know him in person, he's a wonderful human being, excellent rodeo man, great horse trainer, and his wife is just she was, Montana's rodeo queen, very beautiful woman, and also excellent horsewoman. Skipping forward to chapter 8. We go back to the question. This is, well, I think I'm gonna skip forward because this is more of the courtroom drama, and, we're gonna skip to the end. Chapter 55. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said at the beginning of my closing statement to the jury, "I'd like to thank you for your patience and time in considering the issues of this trial. You have a big responsibility on your shoulders in deciding the future of the environment in the Powder River Basin. You could very well be setting the foundation for the future of Wyoming's water quality. You have my respect. This is not an easy assignment." Let's talk about respect for a moment because it is really the underpinning of this case. The Andersons and the other 48 plaintiffs would not be here before you today if their land had been treated with respect. Respect is the cornerstone of all relationships, whether it be a relationship of husband-wife, parent-child, boss-employee, or rancher-methane gas developer. If we treat one another with respect, good things follow. If we are rude and dishonest or insincere, the relationship fails. That is precisely what happened to the Andersons. Meth Zapp was rude and dishonest and insincere, and the Andersons now have a ranch that is polluted with sludge water, salt, and contaminated water. So that is part of Mac's closing statement. I won't tell you how it ends, but I will promise you that you will have enjoyed Powder River Poison. You'll learn a lot about Wyoming, the rodeo, ranching, horse training, the horse whisperer, and about the fact that we are environmental stewards, all of us. We have a responsibility to take care of our environment. Mother Nature is all we have. If we defile it, we'll have no food and no water. And I think I did a good job explaining environmental stewardship in this novel. I really enjoyed crafting it, and it is based on a true story. And anyhow, thank you for participating with me with Powder River Poison, a Mary McIntosh novel on Only the Truth podcast, True Crime. And until next time, we'll meet again. And keep in mind that true crime, you can't make it up. Take care and thank you.